Hi, it's Joe here at Reds, and I'm out adventuring today and just offered a casting tip to my older son actually, and thought, heck, it's a really great tip to share with the world because it's very important. If you've ever snagged your fly on your rod tip or had wind knots or any tangle or just a lack of efficiency in your casting, this tip is for you. And it's very different, or the way the cast works is very different than what a lot of people think. So a lot of folks think that the fly cast, that the rod just moves forward and back in a single plane of travel, and that's not really how it's supposed to work. What happens is the rod tip should come back wide and then forward. The tip of the rod, and the rod's going to suck in just a little closer to your body and then be driven forward. And it's a very close parallel to one another, but the rod tip should come back wide and forward tight. And what that allows you to do is the fly is now, instead of the fly having to be way up above my head and getting blown around, now I can bring the fly back really low and fast. And obviously you need to have a little backcast space in order for this to work. But the way the cast should work is my backcast should come back a little bit wider, like so, and then forward tighter to my body. And what that allows me to do is keep my fly lower. I get a better backcast, and I therefore get a better forward cast. So it's a real simple process. You just practice it like this. It helps you maintain constant pressure and really stay connected with your fly, eliminating slack. And you can just talk yourself through a back wide, forward tight. And I'm gonna exaggerate this now, just for the example. Back wide, forward tight, almost like what would be called a Belgian wind cast. And that helps you maintain constant connection to the rod. But even in your everyday dry fly fishing, just coming back a little bit wider with the rod tip, letting it suck in at that moment of limbo behind you, and then driving that fly forward with the arm tight to your body. And you'll notice when I'm making these casts, look how connected my elbow is to my body. I'm not loosey-goosey, I'm not doing any of this. That's terrible form. Keep your elbow tight, let the rod tip work for you. Back wide, forward tight. Again, I'll exaggerate. Back wide, forward tight, back wide, forward tight. Part of the magic of this is that you're gonna see, most people are gonna see immediate improvement in their cast, but part of the magic is now I can punch my back cast all the way back and get that line nice and tight behind me, so that when I come forward, I'm instantly connected to my line and cast, being far more efficient. If I leave any slack in my back cast, you gotta have to use your imagination with me for a moment, but if I make a back cast like so, and let's just say this is my stopping point, I'm at approximately at 2 o'clock, I'm poised up, and I'm sucking that rod tip in just ever so gently as I go forward. Let's pretend I have slack. Now what happens is I go forward, forward, forward. I'm still under slack, I'm still under slack, I'm still under slack, and then boom, I hit the slack, but I'm already way out here in my cast. Highly inefficient. Versus the angler, that if I can take and I can punch that cast back by bringing my rod tip a little bit sideways so that that fly is almost eye level with me right there, that fly will shoot out nice and taut behind me. Now when I go forward, I'm already connected with my fly, and the whole cast is just a mere flick. So there's a little bit to unpack there. Watch it twice if you'd like to, but you need to be very subtle with that back wide forward tight motion. Remember, you have a 9-foot graphite lever right here working for you. Even the smallest movements down here in your elbow and your wrist and any canting of the rod is very dramatic out there at the end of 9 feet. So make sure you stay, real tight, stay home with that elbow. There shouldn't be a lot of movement to the cast. In fact, I'll throw a couple more just right here. Back wide, forward tight, back wide, forward tight. I'm not being sloppy, not doing any exaggerated motions. It's very subtle, it's very hard to detect. If you watch an expert caster, you'll see that kind of subtlety show up, and they probably don't even realize they're doing it most of the time. But that's a tip for you. Talk yourself through it. Back wide, forward tight.